There we go.
Okay. The answer to Tony's question is yes, this meeting is being recorded, and we are in order. The first order of business is the reorganization of committee, election of a new chair. And I have regrets and certainly mixed feelings about my decision to step down as chair, but I believe that it is in my best interests as well as the town's to have a full-time resident chair the committee. I also have some health issues that really require my full-time attention, although I'm fine, don't worry about me. So with that, I'm going to call for nominations for the election of a new chair. Tony.
I would like to nominate John Fratiello to serve as chair of this committee.
Is there a second to that nomination? Thank you, David. It's been moved and seconded. And if I may recognize myself for a moment, I knew John to be a very solid, good person. Even back in the days when he was a Republican, I said, this is a good guy. This is a good guy. He's a good listener who really cares about the kids, cares about education. And was a terrific colleague, and Kathy and every Democrat who served with John just felt John was never saw John as a partisan or anything like that. He was just all in favor of education, and that has informed John's public service life in Mansfield. So thank you, John, for willingness to take this up. Any further commentary? Hearing none, I'm calling for a vote. All in favor. I see the voting members of the committee all on the call. So all in favor of John's nomination, please raise your hand. Okay, we'll let John abstain, and I will call John Fratiello unanimously elected chair of the Mansfield Middle School Building Committee. Congratulations, John. And let's go to item 3 on the agenda.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind words, Paul, and I'm happy that you did all the heavy lifting so we can go on cruise control, hopefully for the next little bit. Getting on with the agenda, the approval of the May 12th minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Objection, point of order. The minutes that need to be approved are the June 24th minutes.
David?
The earlier minutes have already been approved.
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Oh. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong paper, you're right. So these would be the minutes of the June 24th meeting. I hear motion to approve.
Motion.
David, were you making that motion?
Yes.
I'll second David's motion.
Lost my volume. Motion made by Mr. Briggs. Second by David. All
Page-
those in
page-
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Kathleen? Yeah, yeah, the volume went out again,
The what?
the volume.
John, your internet is
It's just a connection.
shaky.
All right, can you hear me now?
They're voting.
Yeah. You can hear me now.
John, try turning your video off.
Yeah,
You're not on mute.
I'm not on mute. Yeah, can you hear me now, Tony?
Yes.
Yes. Everybody can hear you.
Internet here, so-
I'm losing everything.
Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry?
Here,
Oh, okay, you can hear me, very good. Okay, David made the motion and Paul second. I'm sorry?
it's the connection. It's the internet. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Let me just. We're just gonna connect to a different. We have a hotspot. I'm just gonna connect there and see if the internet's any better.
yeah, Paul, can you hear me?
John, you're in and out.
Let's see. Let me see. Know how to read.
To go all the way back again.
They were all disconnect.
Yep.
I don't know what to do.
Paul? Yeah, they can't hear me at all.
No, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
You need to be recording this.
Yeah, well, it's being caught. Yeah, I'm sorry. Paul,
Yes, John.
Paul,
Yes, John.
That's strong connect.
Can you hear me, John?
Let me turn off my internet.
Paul,
Yes,
Yeah.
John. Kelly, I agree with your suggestion. I think because we have people who are taking time out of their professional workday and we need to move on. It's not John's fault at all. The technology isn't working. So, Tony, why don't you, could you take over the meeting?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sure, I'll be glad to. The next item on our agenda is
You guys are coming in and out. Can you hear me?
You are very interrupted, John. Sometimes we can hear you and sometimes we can't. Your image sometimes
Paul?
is frozen. Can you hear? You can't hear us either.
Yeah,
So my suggestion,
yeah.
the committee suggested that I chair this meeting while you get
You want to
your.
run through the agenda while I'm trying this done because I don't want,
I'll
I
be
can
glad to do
hear
that.
you.
Why don't you just proceed?
You hear me?
Not really. Not really.
The thing is, if you disconnect, everyone will disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Is
So
it easy to restart?
Can you hear me? No, she's not hearing me.
No.
Let me try your phone number.
John,
Sonny,
we're going to proceed with the meeting.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, so the first item is the update from the clerk of the works. Can we do that, please?
Yes,
Sure,
certainly. Go ahead.
I was just going to introduce Doug, if no one has met Doug before. Doug is
Nope.
the clerk of the works that we hired from Colliers. So
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Yes, at this point out there, they've gone through and they've replaced
Yeah.
a lot of the roof drains, probably 95% of them. And they've, prepped as much as they can. They're still waiting for insulation to come in at this point, which we're expecting hopefully in the next week or so. So at this point, that's pretty much what's been accomplished out there. So we've met with the architect to resolve a couple of minor design issues based on the existing structure. But the contractor is ready and raring to go. As soon as the material comes in, they will be starting out there. I don't have much more to add. There hasn't been an awful lot happening out there. So any questions?
Can you
Doug, I
tell
have a
us about how the scheduling has worked? Because I know, the goal was to do it during the summer and now it had to be moved to the fall.
Right. So they'll be starting, second shift. So 2:30, 3 o'clock after the kids get out. And they'll have lights set up and they'll work into dark, which will be a little better for them too, because a lot of it is hot tar application. So it's a little nicer to work when it's cooler out. So the contractor has not voiced any concern to me at this point, or that will be an impact. So as soon as material comes in, they would start working second shift. There is an odor with the material, so they don't want to do it when the kids are there. Other than that, at this point, schedule to completion would be probably end of November or something like that. I haven't seen an updated schedule since don't know when the material's coming in. But as soon as we get that, contractor will update his installation schedule, and we'll be able to give you a better timeline.
Thank you.
Sure.
Shelley?
Doug, I have a couple questions for
Sure.
you. So you just said that the contractor does not have confirmation yet on the delivery date.
Not that
For the
I've heard.
installation?
I mean, Silver Petrocelli may have heard something. I left a message with Bruce the other day, and did not hear back from him yet. This is because he's busy and around, and I've been in and out of meetings. So, but at this point, we've not heard a firm start date.
So my other question then is, what's the lead time between materials being received and work starting? Like, do
I
they
think-
have staff ready to go?
My understanding is he has the people available
Okay.
that he can put them on here. You're not talking a huge crew to do this work. It's really just a matter of getting the material here, And then start to, open up the roof. So do one set, remove what's there, do one section at a time, replace the insulation.
Okay. And then the other thing, I was a little concerned when you talked about the odor. We had talked about ways to minimize that. So if there's odor when it's being applied in the evening, I'm wondering what the residue of that odor is the next morning when kids come in.
It shouldn't be bad at all. It's the hot, when they start doing the hot tar. So you have that hot asphalt smell like when you have them paving. It's not harmful, but a lot of people find it very objectionable, especially when their teachers and the kids are in the building. But by the morning time, next morning, it should be fully dissipated.
Okay.
I mean,
Thanks.
we would turn off air handlers so we're not sucking odors into the building, but that'll be coordinated with your custodial staff. So
Okay.
it shouldn't be an issue. If it is, we'll have to try and work something else out, but I don't anticipate any type of problem with odors. Or you might have a little something, but none of this is health issues. It's really just kind of, it stinks, it's objectionable, but I don't anticipate there being any real issues. Any other questions? I'm sorry, you had something, Tony?
No, I'm just asking if anybody had any other questions. Okay, the next item on the agenda is an update from Imperial. Who's going to present that?
Imperial did not show up here, even though they indicated they would or were going to. But he did, Bruce, that is, did reach out to Bill and tell him that he was expecting the installation in the week of October 18th. So, that might be something he needs to get out to everyone else, but he did let Bill know that.
Okay,
So he's expecting it in.
That's great. I had not heard that. So.
And Alan, one question on that. Do we have room in the staging area for that installation?
I believe so, yes. There's
Okay.
a lot of space in between there. I think they can get that in there. Beyond that, they've been approved to do a cold apply a little bit too. So I think they're going to be using the two methods where they're going to use the hot tar, but they're also in some cases going to use the cold apply too. So it's something that the manufacturer has authorized them to do also.
I'm hearing another voice somewhere. I'm not sure where this is coming from. Nobody seems to be speaking, but okay. The next item is a change order from Silver Petrosello. Alan,
Good morning.
Good morning.
I had sent that on for the committee's consideration. This was given to us at just following the last meeting we had in the field with the contractor. We went over a number of the details, as Alan and Doug had mentioned, and we were informed at that site meeting that there was a material increase for the installation due to the timing of the order. As you're aware, or may be aware, the whole industry, the whole roofing industry has been thrown up in the air. We've had many projects that roofers cannot start because they just can't get the materials to do the roofing. And this is affecting primarily insulation, but also metal fasteners. On this project, the insulation is the limiting factor. They just can't get it from the factories. The factories that produce this are primarily in Texas and in the South, and they just haven't been able to procure it. So the contractor was trying to be as transparent in the process as possible, because we're demanding that they're showing us the original sales receipt for when they ordered the material in the spring when they were first awarded the project. And they sent us the latest sales receipt of what the actual invoice will be for the material. And it's roughly an increase, I think, of $30,000 for the material, which is an incredible increase, but it's not unheard of. We've seen this in other projects, actually. Because it's not a one-off and it's an industry-wide issue right now, we are not objecting to this because he is being, he's given us the actual paperwork that he's received. And for that reason, we are actually recommending that the committee approve this increase so he can proceed and move forward with the roofing.
Paul?
Paul, I appreciate what you're saying, and I think the issues of the supply chain and transportation are affecting every single commodity in the United States and North America and around the world. So I totally understand that. And as much as $30,000 is sticker shock, I appreciate the documentation. My question is contractually, what is in terms of the standard terms and conditions of the agreement under which Imperial was hired? Is this something that he's entitled to pass along?
By contract, you do not have any obligation to give him an extra for this material. And there have been a handful of projects where the owners are objecting to material increases. And then at that point, it really is up to the contractor whether they're going to absorb those costs or they're going to walk away. And in this case, it's a substantial increase on the project. And I think the contractor would feel like he was being penalized for something that's out of his control, even though contractually you do not have to pay him for this extra.
Oh,
Tony,
I can think of it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan. I've already spoken. Go ahead, Ryan.
Just going to ask ask for Paul's thoughts, Paul Jorgensen's thoughts on whether or not, a splitting of the cost is something. I know I've seen that in other projects where they have unforeseen cost spikes. I certainly not pinning this one on the contractor, but I also know that, the language of the contract matters too. I'm not looking to get a dust up over this, but I didn't know if sort of offering to meet in the middle might be palatable to both sides.
It's a fine suggestion. I haven't heard that in other projects in other districts, but it's something we could consider, and we can float the idea if that's what the committee desires to do.
Not to be callous about it, I'm just thinking that if contractually, we're under no obligation, I think it still would hopefully be received in good faith, but.
Bill?
If we were to walk away from this, we say, no, we won't pay, then would the suppliers say, you don't get this and we have to buy it from someone else, and probably extend the time period for the contractor? And what are our options if we don't? I mean, we're sympathetic with the situation, of course, but I'm not sure what our options are.
I think that's the biggest risk for you, the owner, is the schedule. Because if the contractor either walked away or you decided that we aren't going to proceed with them because they're not agreeing to this, then the biggest issue is that it would delay the project altogether. We'd either have to rebid it or we'd have to negotiate and get another contractor on board.
Plus, we might have to pay the same higher price from another vendor, I would expect, at a later or extended schedule.
Prices are very inflated right now.
Paul?
Comment and a motion. First, my comment is that if there was ever a time to be a good customer, this is the time. And Bill's experience in the residential construction operates. They don't do exactly what the roofing contractor did, but changes in prices and unique economic circumstances, it's happened before, although perhaps never to this extent. I would come down with Bill rather than Ryan on this one because as long as something is well documented, it's attributable to conditions in the market and it's fair. I think it's what we need to do is keep the forward progress moving. If those preconditions aren't met, then there might be a different result with a different commodity. But insofar as the change order that relates to the, Paul, this is an insulation material, correct?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna move that the committee accept the proposed change order submitted on behalf of the building contractor from Silver Petroselli and approve payment. That's my motion.
Is there a second? Mr. Latrico, are you seconding?
I am seconding because I agree with Paul, but as an aside, I'd like to say this will go along with this, but no more. Okay, I mean, it has to be something incredible, but we'll do, I agree with Paul, but let them know that, next time I'm not gonna go for it.
Well, that was part of my question. Is this just a foretaste of things to come, or have they now bought everything they need?
Our understanding is that this is the final material that they need for the job. And
Right.
of course, we will transmit your instructions that this is a one-off and that there will be no other increases considered as part of this project for material increases.
Okay, and it's also my understanding that the money is in the original budget for this purchase, for this
Yes.
increase.
Fortunately, we're well under budget.
Okay. Any further comments? Paul, do you want to speak to your motion or?
Sure. I will, in addition to what I said before I made the motion, I would say that I clearly hear and understand what David is saying. My feeling is not quite as strong as David's. I would consider any request for a well-documented increase on a case-by-case basis. I would not rule anything in. I would not rule anything out. And if in fact, what I'm hearing from Alan, although he was mostly through nodding, and also through Doug, if in fact this is the only such commodity price increase that will be passed on to the owner in a 2021-2022 construction contract, I would say we did a good job and this is a well-managed project. I'd like to be, and if what you're saying is true, I'm more than okay with it. But I'm not quite as absolute on future increases. It just simply depends on what is being submitted to us. But in this case, I think all of us who've spoken are agreed, this is fair. Let's vote yes.
Are we ready to vote? All right, will everybody who supports the motion to approve the change order, please raise your hand. All right, I think all voting members have supported the motion and it has been adopted unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the Silver Petroselli invoices dated April 12th, July 1st, and August 1st, 2021 attached. So you have them in your packet. Is there a motion to approve? David Latrico moves to approve these invoices. Will Briggs seconds. Discussion. Is there any question about any of these? Any of these invoices? Paul, do you want to present them?
Which Paul?
You. Paul Jorgensen.
Sorry.
Your invoices.
Well, They are, and I apologize, because you have a few of them. I think one of them was sent and it wasn't received. So there was a little bit of confusion on the earliest one, I believe. I apologize. I don't have the invoices right in front of me, but I did see them in the packet. And they are, I can vouch that they are, all are accurate, and we've done the work accordingly for the construction documents. That was the early invoice, and then the bidding, and now the beginning of construction administration.
So the first invoice is dated July 12th. It is for $2,300. It is for design services and construction administration. The second invoice is dated July 31st. It is for $357.50. And the third invoice is dated due date of July 31st, and it is for $445. And then there's another one dated due date of August 31st for $357.50. So there are 4 invoices. Paul Shapiro?
Yeah, I guess my question is, I'm looking at the minutes that were emailed, and absolutely nothing that Tony said matches up with item 7 on this meeting's agenda. Those the dates in item 7 are April 12th, July 1st, and August and August 1st.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at the pages in the packet. You're right. I was reading due dates, and you were reading issue dates. So
Yeah, issue dates. It's what the question in my mind is, when did Silver Petroselli make their submissions? And the minutes say April 12th, July 1st, August 1st.
All right. April 12th for $2,300. July 1st for $307.50. And July 1st for $445. And August 1st, which must be the second issuing of the July bill, which wasn't paid, for $357.50. So it's not 4 invoices, it's 3. The April invoice we can ignore because it wasn't paid, but we are being charged on August 1st for that amount. So it is 3 invoices, and they're in the bottom 3 pages of your packet. So, Paul.
I move that the committee approve those 3 invoices. But I would also request that since Alan is the one who oversees Silver Petroselli's work, that he let us know audibly that he's reviewed them and these are in good order. So I made the motion, but also making a request of staff.
I have reviewed those and they are correct.
Okay. Any questions about the invoices? Are we ready to vote?
You need a second.
Second by David Latrico. Actually, I think that motion was made twice. That's okay. We'll take the second corrected one. Okay. Is there anybody have anything else to say? All right. All those in favor of the motion to approve the invoices, please raise your hand. All right. All voting members have voted in the affirmative. The invoices have been adopted. All right. And there's nothing else on the agenda. So I think a motion to adjourn is in order, unless there's something else. Well, we can't add anything else. It's a special meeting. So would somebody like to move to adjourn? Moved by Bill Briggs, seconded by John Fradiello. John, welcome to being chair. We'll have to work out with you how to get your internet straightened out so you can do this in the future. Thank you all, and thank you, Paul, for all your very good work for this committee.
It's a pleasure to work with every one of you.
Yeah,
And
thank you,
Ned,
Paul.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Nice to meet you.
See you all at the
Thank you.
Celebrate Mansfield Festival tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.